Hey everybody, it's Chris Miles. Hey, welcome today. Just want to be able to share with you and tell you, man, I'm finally doing it. Okay, so I've had many of you, especially my clients, that have told me over the years. They said, Chris, I would love for you to show me like how do you like actually use Mint or how do you use whatever program you use to help create your budget, or as I have to, like to say, my spending plan. Like how do I track my income and my expenses? How do you set all this up and how do you do it? Because I'll tell you, the hardest thing is just getting started. The hardest thing is just setting this up. But once you get it set up, it's actually quite easy. And so I want to show you today, just using this firsthand, starting from the beginning, because it's very different to start from the beginning than after it's already been set up. And so I finally found one email I could use that I hadn't used yet. So this part right here, this is going to show you how can you actually set this up to start tracking your money and make it very quick and easy. So I'm going to show you the process I've done to make this happen. Now I've already gone to mint.com, and you can see it's mint.intuit. That's kind of how it goes after you log in. I went to mint.com and I went ahead and I already set up my username and password. They sent me a little text saying, hey, verify it's you and all that kind of stuff. So this is where I am. The very first step they say is enter your bank. So I'm going to start entering some of my bank information here. So don't worry, I'm not going to share everything. But I'm just going to start typing this in. Now you'll notice you start typing in, a lot of times it'll start showing up. So right here, I see Mountain America CU, which is actually correct. But I don't need business, I need personal. There it is. Boom. So now I'm going to put in my login ID and password. I'm going to pause this for a little bit, just so you don't see it. Okay, I'm back. So, all right, so I've gone through and done these transactions, got everything going here. And again, the easiest thing I've done here is just be able to go through and go and check the ones that are like duplicate transactions, usually transfers, or there could be some double entries, but not likely. By the way, if you ever want to add a single entry, maybe you did something in cash, you can actually click on plus transaction. You can actually add one, put in a description of what it was. Like maybe you took cash out for, it could have been for, groceries or something like that. Which here I should just type in groceries and boom, there it is. Put in the amount, like $200 or whatever it is, add it, and it goes right in. So you can do all kinds of stuff like that. So in any case, that's kind of the way to get this done. So hopefully I've done this all correct. This took me a little while to do, just because there were, as you see, 7 pages here, and I'm at 50 transactions. So that's about 350 transactions I went through. That did take some time to get through for the last 3 months. So now let's go ahead. And the next place I go is you can go to budgets. You can create budgets here. Now, here's what's kind of cool is that you can see what the different categories are here. Now, if you click on a category, say you go to gas and fuel, there's a lot of other ones here, but this is just one that comes up automatically. If you click on that, click on edit details, you'll see here, and they've got some, US average versus U. So the last really 3.5 months they've got here, or 3 months total. You can show the different averages here. So it says historically you spent 155 on gas. I think the number's gonna be a little higher. For example, February, if I put my cursor on it, it says 254. There's some travel involved there, so that makes sense. January 124. March so far is 94. And so more likely than not, I'm probably going to put the amount somewhere in the ballpark of about like 175, let's just say. And it doesn't have to be exact, but I could put that there. Now, when I do that, and I put that as every few months, you can start each month, the previous month amount left over, so you can't have it roll over. So if you don't use a lot one month, you could do this. Now, the warning is, of course, that if you're rolling it over, eventually you could either have negative every month if you go over 1 month, or you could have a lot of extra left over, which is fine. It just makes it a little bit trickier to see. And so it just depends on what you like to do. If you really like to say like, hey, I spent a lot extra this month, but it's going to be less the next month, or maybe we pay every few times a year, like for maintenance. This is really good, especially for like car maintenance and things like that, where there might be a more occasional. You can build up a budget balance. The key is you got to keep that budget there, and so that's why my wife and I have like automatic withdrawals coming into different savings accounts for those kind of expenses. So you can do that. You can let it roll over each month. I'm going to check it. So if I only spend 165 this month, that means $10 is going to roll over to next month. I could spend up to 185 on gas, especially if you happen to have one of those weird months where you gas up at the first and then the end of the month, right? You might have a little extra gas ups there. So there you can hit save. As it does that, you can see now 95, 175 right there. Now, movies and entertainment, if I click on this one, you'll see like I have a big one for 92 bucks, but then otherwise it's usually around 20, 25, something like that. 31 in December because we went to see a few movies. So in this case, I'm probably it says the average has been about 41 per month. I'll say 40. Let's just go with that. So, and again, they can do the same thing with start each month, let it roll over, and boom, there we go. More than halfway. Groceries. Now, groceries is going to be a little bit different, especially because like I'm on business travel right now, so I'm using that as a business travel category. So this one says I only spend that, but December, you see December was a pretty nice month there, almost 1,600 bucks. So I know typically I'm going to spend about 1,200 per month, give or take, on groceries. So I'm going to put that in there. And actually I'm going to let that roll over too, because that one is a good one to have a rollover. Restaurants, same kind of thing. It just depends on the month. I had some months more than others. I'm probably going to put this one around 200. That's usually our typical budget. And then, clothing. This one looks like we've already spent quite a bit this month. Or no, we haven't, only 127. They say historically it's been 151. There's January. Yeah, let's put it as 150. Between myself, my wife, and 8 kids, that's not too uncommon. And this one we can expand. Whoops, wrong one here. Don't want to create a budget off that. Click this. You can see all the other categories show up here, which is awesome because auto insurance, perfect. This one we don't have to do the whole rolling over each month. But auto insurance says 142. It's because it's taken in the 6 months that haven't happened. It always takes a 6-month average. We know it's 189. So I'm going to put that in. And that's set. So that pops right in there. And actually, you'll see that it does have a little extra there. Now, you notice if I go up 10 bucks, it does actually put into yellow. Yellow means you're almost at your budget. So because it's probably 189 and change, I'm just going to put 190 so it doesn't freak the system out. So there it is, 190 of 190, right? Which more accurately is 189 and change. We got like the auto payment. This one is usually pretty much that. So I just usually round up on that auto payment a little bit. So boom, done. We've got bills and utilities. This one obviously is a little bit more than that, depending on the month and things like that. We're probably gonna put it at 350, and we're gonna have it to where it does roll over each month. And you kind of see where I'm going with this, right? It's kind of cool. So, I can basically take all of these and create a budget from all of them. This one definitely, I got my child support, one of my child support payments right there. So I can put that in and there it goes. So you can kind of go see how it goes from there on. Now we go to trends. So trends, this is kind of fun because this is where we get to see it all come together. Now, this is where we can see the spending, we can see the income coming in, all that kind of stuff. So spending by category, they have this month. Now this month isn't over, so I like to look at last month. It's like, what did it look like last month? Now, obviously, because of me traveling, everything else, as well as other things, I've got like 58,000 of business services. So that big category. And you can see the breakdown right here. It'll show you every category you want to see. So you see last month I spent about 74 grand. Most of that was business type stuff. I had some donations and things like that, health and fitness. Now I can go over the last 3 months, which is pretty much what I just categorized, right? And so this one will be pretty much January, February, March. It won't show that December, but it'll show everything else. So it'll give me the breakdown. I'll show like everything I've spent, everything I've done there. It does give me the averages per se, but I can always just do the math later on. It's always nice. Now I can't see it so much, but I like to do the last 12 months, see rolling 12 months or like this year, last year, all time. You can look at all kinds of stuff. You can do a custom date. So if I want to do a custom date, I could actually literally just go back and say, well, let's go exactly to where we've been. So from, or you can just type it in 12/15 to 3/14. So now I can see exactly everything I recorded. So you see I have a lot of business transactions, obviously, a lot of things going there, my gifts and donations. I have my home, like my mortgage payments and things like that, health and fitness. And here's what's cool. I can go to health and fitness. I can click on this category and it breaks it down. So I can see how much is going to chiropractor over the last several months, vitamins and supplements, health insurance, It's interesting. I spend more on preventative care than I do on my health insurance, right? Acupuncture, health and fitness. There's one transaction there. I already know, like, oh, I might want to update that because there's some other categories there too. I can see the breakdown right here. Oops, I'll show fewer, show more. So sports, like $90.10, that was me running a half marathon, registering for a race. Now I see a doctor show, oh, okay, there actually is a doctor bill there. So that's legitimate. So I can go through here. Now I saw, well, which one was it? Let's see, was there actually health? No, there wasn't actually a health and fitness only. So let me click on that. I want to see, oh yeah, there is one. So health and fitness, natural health center. Oh, that one needs to be categorized. So this is the nice thing. I can go through. I can say, hey, what? I should have that category, should I? So that one, I know that one is actually under acupuncture. So we go put that there, and you'll see now that category disappear, but now acupuncture gets bigger. So I can see this all the kind of breakdowns and everything. Now, if I want to go back, I just click on category again, and I've got all my categories again, just like normal, taxes and everything. Now, income, you can do the same thing. You can do over time. You can do by category. You can do it. Category I don't so much worry about as much, but over time is always nice because you can kind of see, hey, what's the income look like? So you can see kind of like month to month. So for me, again, I think this is still in custom. Yep, December 15th through March 15th. So I can kind of see the income that's been coming in. You can. Yeah, I love it when you can look back over the last 12 months. You can see a rolling 12 months, which is always fun. So again, I wish I show you an older one here, but again, I want to show you something from the scratch, from the beginning. Eventually, you'll have that kind of history, and this will make everything easier on when you're trying to create a spending plan. When you're trying to figure out what you actually spend. When you start getting like 6 and then 12 months out with this tracking, it gets so much easier to make it predictable and say, what am I actually spending? What am I actually doing here? It makes it so much easier, so much easier. So now I don't have like all my assets or everything you put in, but you can even see like your assets over time, like net worth and things like that. This one just shows, the 1 month, from based on that checking account and that kind of thing. And you have debts, you can look at that. Oh yeah, so assets and then debts, and then you can look at your net worth. There it is. That's the one. So there you can see like now it's assets minus the liabilities, and your net worth is right there, that number. It's going to be that little point, which you can just see right here. So it just takes that, says, hey, 141,000 on my bank account. That's my net worth right there. So that's where you can use this. Investments, you can obviously tie some things in there and see things that way. The main thing I usually use, now I might use goals too. This is kind of fun. If you want to create any kind of goals, and sometimes they give you goals you can just click in, like buy a home, or you're saving for a home, paying off credit card debt, or pay off certain loans, emergency funds, or retirement, take a trip, whatever it might be. You can put in goals, or you can create a custom goal. And so that's kind of cool because you can, say you want to pay off a loan. Let's just take that Kia Forte, right? So that one right there, so it's $223 a month payment. Now, if my goal is that, I just click next here. Now it says, obviously based on the 223 a month payment, it's going to take 4 years and 11 months. Now I've been doing 225. I might make it 4 years and 10 months, right? So it kind of gives you a point. So if I want to make it quicker, I think, well, I want to pay off this faster. How soon can I go? What if I paid 347, or what if I paid 500? Okay, 2 years, 1 month. So maybe I was like, hey, I want to pay this off in 2 years. Well, boom, right there, 508 per month. It tells me exactly what I need to do. So I say, if I have a 2-year goal to pay this off, there it is. I need to start paying 508 a month. You can save that goal, and as they say, boom, you got it there. Then you'll see that goal show up as it updates here, and I'll show you your progress. It's like, great, this month you've done 0 of the 534. So now you have the goal to keep doing that 534. Say, great, good job. You're on track to your goal. If you're behind, I'll let you know if you're behind on your goal. All that kind of stuff you can do. So it makes it kind of fun there. So that's the thing you do. There is a thing for credit score too. You can actually go and get your free credit score. You put in some information. And now this is just based on, I'm forgetting the service now. Kind of like a Credit Karma type of thing. It's very similar to that, kind of a free credit score. It's not accurate at all. Not exactly accurate, but it can give you at least a decent, viewpoint. So if there's anything changing on your credit, it'll even send you alerts. You get email alerts if there's changes there. I also get email alerts when there's changes in, like, if I'm going over budget on something, those kind of things. So if my budget, if I'm getting to a point where it turns red, say I make this less here. So it's at 175, I go down. to like 75, it goes red, right? So, you can see what happens. So it'll tell me like, hey, you're gone over budget. It'll send an email alert. A lot of times, if there's anything suspicious, it'll show that off. So there's kind of cool things. And you see right in the budget, by the way, here's the goals right here. It shows up also on this page. Thing I like is when you first log in, every time you log in, now of course, it's asking if you want to use your credit score there. And you can see it right there if you want. And it updates once a month, or you can update it more often. Here, I can just see this all, as overall. So you can go to the budgets page and do that, or I can just look at this right here and say, hey, how are we doing this month? How's it looking? I can see all of that stuff right here. It's awesome. So, guys, this is pretty much how you do it. This is how I use Mint. This is all the ways I can, and that's not all the ways I use it, but this is something I want to track. If you do it on a regular basis, this becomes so simple. Yeah, I might have spent several minutes updating 350 transactions, but if you're doing this weekly or at least a couple times a month, you might only have at max a couple dozen transactions to go through. You might spend just a few minutes to update all this and have all these numbers. And this is great when you're doing your meeting with if you're married, you're doing this with your spouse or whoever, or even as a family, discussing the finances and saying, here's where we are and here's what's going on, that kind of stuff. So anyways, guys, like this is the kind of fun stuff you can use. This is how you can make it exciting. Oh, for those of you guys have life insurance, as long as you have a back end way of accessing the life insurance, you can even put the life insurance login through here too. So you can even see your life insurance balance. That's one thing I didn't put on here. So again, there's so many things you can do. Obviously, if you have questions, you can let me know. But hopefully this will give you a great start to at least know how to use it, get it going. And again, the thing is just get into the habit, using this on a regular, consistent basis, and there will be no mysteries. And I guarantee anytime somebody's told me that they said, hey, I'm too busy to check my money, I guarantee they're losing at least $500 a month every time. And this really helps eliminate that just by watching and being aware of your money. I've watched people actually have more money and they can't even explain it. They don't even know why. But I'll tell you, it's just, when money, it's that law of the vacuum. Space abhors a vacuum. And whenever there's something there, people tend to spend whatever's there because they just see something that's available. If you see money that's in a checking account, sometimes people just naturally want to spend it. Even if they're savers, they would naturally want to use it towards something. And so by monitoring this, it gets you more on a better wavelength to be able to see what's responsible, what's the wise steward way to do it. What's going to get the best stewardship of your money. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you really had a lot of fun like I did. So in any case, have a wonderful day and we'll talk to you later.